And then I remember the day that I rolled it out to my Academy girls, and their minds, just like me, my mind was blown. But then there were all these other ones. And I think that
welcome to another episode here on the Owl Podcast. I'm joined by our newest co-host. Who is this sitting right to me? Weston Scott Hill. And look at this, everybody out there. It is Bring Your Children to Work Day. It's a national holiday. And I can't believe you do this, Weston. It's pretty darn cool.
Thanks.
You going to be an artist when you grow up?
Basketball player.
Yeah? Well, Weston, do you have a shout out? I know you have some friends listening.
Yeah, shout out to Mercer and Lily.
Ooh, Mercer and Billy. What do you want to tell them?
They're great friends.
They are great friends, Dad. That is so true. Well, I'm joined by my other co-host, Sandra. What is happening before we talk to our guest today?
What is happening? Well, we're almost done. The 30-day hard challenge.
We are
It's exciting.
It's been a rough 30 days. I was in Vegas this week.
I only had one water bottle today, but I have like 5 more to go. Yeah, I mean, other than that, we're excited to have our guest here today, who we've been trying to get for a while. She is VIP. She is amazing. Why don't you tell us who you are and share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm so excited to finally be here
Yes.
after 4 years.
Yeah.
We're kind
I'll
of
try to make this happen.
So we had you on the shrimp tank
Right.
on Zoom when COVID hit, and
Yeah.
but it was with 4 other guests, of course. So this is
Yeah.
the first time directly you as the guest.
Yeah, so my name is Sandra Glandt. I am a high performance productivity coach. I am Mrs. International 2022. I'm a best-selling author, podcaster, TV host on the CW, and wife and mama to 2 busy boys.
See that, Western? She's doing a lot, and she has 2 boys as well. What do you think? That is good.
Yeah.
That's a good point. He's natural. What do you think, Sandra?
I love it.
Are you going to have your 2 boys one day
Oh,
join one of your podcasts?
Well, they've been on.
Oh,
They've
have.
been on, and Jordy's been talking about how he loves like Puss in Boots, the show, and Jake talks about fishing.
Oh.
So
Nice.
they love a microphone. They love a stage.
You've had many podcasts in the past. Was that current?
Yeah. So the Slayer Day podcast is my current podcast, but I have a total of 3 podcasts. The first one was called the Modern Moms Club that I had when Jake was first born. So it was, it was all the tactics and kind of hacks, if you will, of how to run a business and be a mom. And that went for a year. My second podcast was called Project in Charge that I had with a business partner. And unfortunately, she moved back to California. So that ended. And then now the Saturday podcast, which has been going on for almost a year and a half.
And can you tell our audience what podcasting has done for you? We see 3 million plus podcasts out today. And every week I see on Instagram other individuals starts a podcast. So I'm sure if it's getting a little bit too saturated or you have to focus more on the experience versus the downloads. But what has podcasting done to your life?
Well, I definitely, to your point, I want to say that many people start podcasts, but it's very rare that someone actually can maintain the consistency of doing it. It takes dedication. It takes time. It takes, in most cases, a team to help with all of that. And I'm all about the outsourcing and the delegation. So definitely that's part of my process. But it opens so many doors. Like if you want to, we were talking about this before the show, but if you want to go have coffee with someone, if you want to go get some, expertise, instead of saying, hey, because I really hate this image, so to pick your brain.
Well, that's our slogan, by the way.
Oh,
It's locked in.
it's,
because Owl's all about paying to get through to something.
yes. So,
And you raise your price so you get the right people to really talk to you that generally
Yes.
want to, not just waste your time.
yes.
Yeah.
So, just like having those conversations, really on a different level.
Like, what has podcasting done to you? Right? This is a new chapter for you. You're musician, you're always in front of audiences and singing, of course. But podcasting, when you joined Owl, right, completely.
Yeah, you just
changed
threw me
your-
out of the.
I was like,
It's my second day. You're like, you're the new co-host. I was like,
oh, good news for you.
okay.
It didn't work out. Would you like to be
Yeah.
But the good thing is that you're used to being
And
in
yeah, I
front
wasn't like nervous or anything. Honestly, I was like, I hope I can think of questions, but really, I feel like I like meeting people. I like talking to people. It's just like having a
Natural for you.
conversation. So it is natural. But yeah, I mean, again, the biggest thing is truly just like having all these new contacts now. And, we talked about this before. Like, I've gotten gigs, I've gotten opportunities that have nothing to do with Owl just because of the people I've met on the podcast. So, it's been great.
It's also like a nice.
Yeah.
You get in these uncomfortable situations at networking events. You don't know what to say, and then you kind of, throw in there that you have a show, and you're like, oh, look.
Yeah.
And you could show them the screen,
yeah.
show them your website, show some of the past guests you've had on, some of the reels you've had on.
Yeah.
Then it's
a connector. Like, I feel like I love connecting people. It's one of the things that I love networking, and I love, but I think that when you find someone that is like, oh, well, I need an expertise in this or that, and then now you've had this podcast and you meet so many people with so many different expertise, you're like, oh, I know someone for that, or I can connect you with someone. So it's also a great opportunity to be that connector.
So share with our audience some of the biggest things that come out of podcasting. Those that one or two just really stick out.
There's been so many. Speaking appearances, new relationships, and not just new relationships in business, but like amazing friendships. Like I mentioned with my second podcast, my business partner at the time, she's one of my best friends. We turned a friendship into, this business that we did podcasting together. So stages, appearances. So as I mentioned, I won Mrs. International 2022. One of the big pieces that they wanted their, title holders to hold was the reach and the visibility. And that's what podcasting does, is it gives you this international reach.
And tell us the difference between yours and others out there. Obviously, consistency, right, is one thing we see often podcasters get to about 6 or 7, realize it's a lot of going to work and it's a lot of money. Right?
Yeah.
It's not just the podcasting element, but it's the actual hardware, like these mics, these headsets. You want to be very professional, you need a better camera, and then you could edit.
Yep.
And then if you want to put it up on a website, like, there's a lot of different things happening behind the scenes. And sometimes the person who do a reel can't really work with WordPress and get up on a website.
Yep.
So talk to that for a second.
Yeah, so I have a team. I have 5 people on my team, and that's everything from someone who does the social media content to someone who does the editing to, she's my business manager, but she does so many things. So shout out to Vanessa, but she's kind of like the back end systems to my business. And then, all of those things work together because the integration of what, like you said, my girl, shout out to Paige, who does my blogs and the SEO, she's not sitting there editing the video, and I don't want my team having to go learn how to do things. I'm hiring them because of their strengths. So that's something that I would say, if you're looking to do a podcast, maybe in the beginning you have to wear all of these hats, but I don't recommend that if it's something that you want to sustain and really make it something that's going to be profitable for you, that you are doing all of those things all the time. Find other people that you can hire, outsource, delegate, and it doesn't need to be full time in the beginning either. A couple hours a week will get you pretty far. But it takes, even down to thumbnails. Repurposed across all the platforms. And I always say, if you're going to do something once, make sure that it's making an impact. So, we're here, we've got the video, we've got the audio, you've got podcasts, you've got Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Use all platforms.
StreamYard, you can push out everywhere.
Yeah.
Even Instagram these days, they just announced you could do it there.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, you could do it on there as well these days. And why not go out there and get more reach?
Yeah.
And of course, it comes back to the short reels these days. And I notice you do a really good job at that, because often people spend an hour doing a podcast, and I've been on many shows. I don't go on as many shows anymore because I realize, I'm like, wait a second, I'm just doing an interview for an hour. They're getting to meet me, but I'm like, there's nothing that comes from it.
Yeah.
I'm like, 6 months later, they're like, here's a folder with 2 reels and or not even like, here's the audio.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, now what? Like, you're not putting it anywhere. It's not going up on a website.
Right.
What's unique with us on both shows, the Shrimp Tank and the Owl Podcast, is we have dedicated websites. So someone gets a great backlink because our sites have great domain authority because we keep putting new people on it every single week. And then after that, we're doing the thumbnails, we're doing the reels. So what we've realized is, like, we could take the clip from our website.
Mm-hmm.
The website has photos of that individual,
Yep.
and it's so professional that our success rate is so high.
Yeah.
Because if you saw that we had the CEO of Celsius on,
Right.
immediately, everyone recognizes that brand. It's one of the hottest brands in the world currently. And then you're like, if they were on, I want to be on.
Yeah.
Right. They
Yeah.
barely look at anything else.
Right.
They immediately say yes.
And I find too, like when I did my first 2 podcasts, I wasn't repurposing to YouTube. It was straight audio. The tactic the third time around was we're going everywhere, like YouTube. I mean, again, all the channels, because again, if you're going to do it one time, it's one extra step. And I know for women too, it's a little bit harder because you want to make sure your hair and makeup ready and all the things. Guys have a little bit of an advantage with that. But again, like I like to also batch my content if I can, and like do a few episodes at once. If hair and makeup's done, you're going to take advantage of that.
You also have to get confident on when it comes to the live. A lot of stuff can go wrong with live. We've made a lot of mistakes and a lot of technology fails when you go live. Like Facebook for a long time had a bug with our sound system. We had to go live, then plug in the audio, clip. And it was just knowing that that's how, if you wanted to go live, not using a platform like StreamYard, if you're going directly to an iPhone, you had to do it. So we would always like start it, then have to cancel. And you just have to tell the guests like, it's okay. This happens. You know what
gets you, like, this is maybe like a little hack for the listeners, but you know what, like kind of eases you out of that real fast? Go live with your kids. If you have kids, because they will.
Ooh, Weston, we got to live more often.
I cook with my kids on camera.
Yeah.
Like,
you ready to go live?
Yeah.
We're going to start that lemonade stand business, right? W&K.
Legendary lemonade.
There
Boom.
we go.
Legendary lemonade. Yeah, you made over $100, right, Weston?
That's amazing.
I agree, though, because when it comes to the lives, like, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
Too often, everyone's so worried about the content for that 1 or 2 episodes. Fail a little bit. It's okay. Right. And then all of a sudden, you just get used to going live all the time.
Probably won't have anyone watching at the beginning anyway.
Yeah. Most podcasts don't.
You're new, so like, don't worry about it. I'm curious, though. I want to hear more about Slay Your Day, like for people that are watching. What is an episode like? What kind of content are they getting from your podcast?
Yeah. So Slay Your Day, and we have my book right here. So I actually wrote this when I was 6 months pregnant, when the book came out during COVID. So Slay Your Day is all about the systems, the strategy, and the support on how to do it all, how to be the mom, how to be the wife, how to be the business owner, take care of yourself, and do all the things that are important to you. So I wrote the book with those strategies, but the podcast, we peel back another layer to that podcast, YouTube, because I have my own solo episodes, but then we also bring on the experts that will talk about, and it's also things that I'm interested in. Like I bring people on, like I just had, yesterday we launched an episode with Maggie Burkhoff, who is also a mom. She's a mom to 3, and she's a functional wellness practitioner. And she's talking about like swaps that we can do with our hair and our makeup that are natural, that help to get rid of disease in the body and all these things. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, why don't we know more about this?
Yeah.
So it's great because you get to bring people on that you would want to have these conversations with and ask them what you want to ask them.
Mm-hmm. And just in terms of like, I guess if you're a productivity like coach essentially. So I guess like, what are 3 tips that you would give out for productivity that are more unique that people don't always hear? Because there are certain things that like people always say, but
okay.
What are a couple of things? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I love this. I love this.
Yeah. Just something that like I might not always think about for productivity.
Okay. So one really, really big one is if you have a partner, doesn't matter, husband, wife, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter. You've got to get on the same page with them, because my husband and I, what we do, and I have a YouTube video on this and a podcast on this, but I call it my sexy calendar planning. And what you do is you map out your entire year in one day. You look at, your work schedule, the kids' school schedule, you look at your travel, you look at all the things, and you map this out. But the trick is, again, if you have boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, you take them somewhere sexy. Like my husband and I go to get a massage. We have a lunch on the beach together. And like now he's excited about planning with me because he knows he's going to have some champagne and some massage during this, whole experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
So if you don't have a partner, like I'm the planner in the relationship and my husband's not. Most men aren't. They're like in it. They're like, let's go out and hunt and kill and
last minute. We're last minute people, right? Mother's Day's coming around the corner. It's like you look at Publix, everyone's going in. that morning
Yes.
into Publix.
Yes.
And it's funny, actually,
Yeah.
if you ever just want to film it,
Yep.
like they're all there. The day before, there's no one.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. So, doing that overall, the macro planning, and then, we also back that up with our monthly, like, little check-ins that we do together,
Yeah.
but just getting on the same page with your partner, because there's so many things, especially like my clients are high performance clients. They are running very successful businesses. Their homes are busy. Their personal lives are busy. So just having that general scope of like what's going on, it most all the time changes, that's why you have those monthly check-ins too.
Yeah.
But when you can make it fun,
Yeah.
and
You don't want it to be like a business
no,
meeting, obviously.
exactly.
So.
And it's a business meeting in disguise.
Right.
That's the best part, is you're like, this is our business of the home,
Yeah.
the meeting, but we're going to make it fun.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
I don't hear that. I don't hear people
Yeah. No, I
talking
haven't heard that
about
before.
that a lot,
That's really cool.
but that's something that has made our home, our personal life, thrive so much more, as well as the business side,
Yeah.
because everything is just more streamlined.
We've
love
done
it.
that for work as well. We put a big
Yeah.
board up and say it's 12 months. Let's do one thing fun per
Yes.
month,
Mhm.
but also put
Yeah.
in 3 items that are giving back your time. So we went to
Yes.
Place of Hope and we
Nice.
folded clothes. They gave us a
Amazing.
tour, because often even businesses fail at that,
Yes.
right? They
Yes.
get so sucked into the regular meetings,
Right.
the regular lunches, and you don't do anything, just different.
Right.
And sometimes it's cool to do things that others wouldn't do.
Right.
Like we went axe throwing one time,
Nice.
and that was cool. We went to a
So
casino
it's like
one
a
time.
team building.
Yeah.
Yeah, because already I love gambling, right? I went to Las Vegas
He's
last
like,
week.
this is an excuse. We
But
were like,
but-
I lost the money so quickly. I was like,
I'm like,
okay.
here's $200. Don't lose it too quickly. It's like
Yeah.
$200.
She's
I'm
like,
no,
200
that's
on
not-
red.
I'm like, that's not the point.
I just know my game. I know what I'm good at, and I know what
Yes,
I'm not.
that's
So
good.
craps really hard. I still don't.
I just like to watch my
understand.
husband do it, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me
Craps
just
is fun.
watch you.
It's
Craps. I play
hard.
a
Like
lot of
blackjack, I can play because it's literally simple math. But
Yeah.
anything
But
else,
sometimes they go really fast, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, not my
They're
game.
like, lose. You're like, how did that? You just took my money.
I find though I have like dumb luck with these things. Like I win and I don't know how.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
No,
okay.
it's there.
I don't
You
know
have
what
to
just
be
happened.
like, this is my first time. I say that like every time, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm winning, and like, it works. It works.
Yeah.
Play it up a little.
I play a lot of poker because it's just
Okay.
relaxing, right? I'm just sitting at a table, my phone's there. It's the first time because I'm just so busy during my work weeks. And then when I'm not at work, I'm busy with family time.
Yes,
There's
yeah.
sports on the weekends. This
Yeah.
little guy's playing soccer, basketball.
That's so
Won the
good.
championship over here in soccer and got the only goal in the championship
Wow.
23
Proud
teams.
dad.
Proud moment. And you just don't have that moment just to take a break sometimes.
Right.
So poker's my break. I just sit there for like 6 hours straight at a
Nice.
table, just chilling, listen to
That's
music.
like my
sometimes.
workouts. I feel like
Yeah.
for me, my workouts is my decompress.
Mhm.
And that's like another tip I would say is like find your thing. Like
Yeah.
if you find yourself so busy, so overwhelmed, like find the thing. And it doesn't have to be a work. It doesn't have to even be anything productive necessarily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like find that it could be meditation.
Yeah.
And that's something I've actually been embracing more this year because my life is so go. And
even
so
5 minutes
Yeah.
literally will make a huge difference.
yeah, breath work.
Meditate.
5-minute breath work.
Totally.
Amazing.
It's so I was having this conversation with a friend the other day, and I was like, well, what do you do to relax? Like, what's your
Yeah.
go-to? Do you go to the spot? And they were like, nothing. I don't have
Yeah.
I was like, you don't have a ritual? Like, I was like, I have like 30 rituals that I do to relax. And they were like, I've never thought about that. And I realized like, oh, this isn't common sense. Like it's
Yeah.
actually
So like
So-
it's good to have those because life just does. It
Yeah.
gets so busy. And if you're not really intentionally doing it,
Mhm.
it's just easy not to do.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. Awesome.
Let's talk about the book for a moment.
Yeah.
What made you decide to become an author? I actually remember it. You were posting on
Yes.
social media, asking about different covers.
Yes.
And I remember
that.
personally posting, I was
Yep.
like, do the one in between.
Yep.
And then you picked that one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what made you go down this road?
So I always wanted to write a book. And for me, I was coaching women. I was doing one-on-one coaching. I was doing group coaching, but I had so many women that just were coming to me and they didn't even know where to start. And maybe they weren't at that point yet where they could afford a coaching session or they could afford even to come into a group setting. But under $20 book, anybody can afford that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the start. It was the introduction of wherever you find yourself. If you're like the busy mom, if you're just like focused in that hustle grind mode, all of the tips and the strategies that are in there. And it's not a huge book. You can read it in a day. I wanted it to be actionable. I wanted people to read it and be able to say, okay, because at the end of every chapter, there's little like journaling prompts. And it's so you read it and then it's like, this is now how I take action. So I wanted to put something out into the world that people could access to say, like, I can put this in my toolbox and be able to use the tools and the systems and the strategies that are in this book.
Weston, what do you think? You want to read this?
It's very girly.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of pink.
You give it to your girlfriend.
Or your mom.
Who did you give a shout out earlier?
Lily.
You want to give it to Lily?
Oh, Lily.
Maybe.
Maybe. Or you want to give it to your mama?
Mom.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's
mom's
more of a
getting
mom
this.
book.
Yeah.
Lily doesn't have to worry about that right now.
Yeah.
But I'm curious too, who is your ideal client? And also, what does a session with you look like? Like,
Yeah.
what is someone getting? Do they get homework? Like, how does
Mhm.
that all work?
Yeah. Okay. So my ideal client is a woman who she is a high performer.
Okay.
She's someone who is running on all cylinders. She's someone who is probably stressed out.
Mhm.
She's like, I can't get it all done in a
Mhm.
day. And she's like, I need some support, And for the women that I work with, they're typically in two places. They're at kind of that point where they're like, I don't know what to do anymore. And like, what do I do at this point? Or they see the content that I post and they're like, wait a minute, I need more of this in my life and I want to work with you. So so they haven't reached that point where they're like, I like need you right
Yeah.
now. They're like, they're doing their due diligence. They're kind of like ahead of
Yes.
the ball in a sense. But like either one, no matter where you're at, both of those places, you're looking out for yourself,
Mhm.
right? It's like I'm finally realizing we shouldn't do it alone. Like I talk about the 3 pillars: system, strategy, support. And support is having other women who understand what you're going through.
Mhm.
And again, as a high performer, you're like in the thick of it, the meetings, the calls, the home, I mean, all of it, as a whole. And then when clients work with me, so they have to fill out a questionnaire first because I can't just, it's not like a one size fits all, right? Like I'm looking at exactly what they're going through, what they want to work on. And I'm asking them through that survey, where do they want to start? Like, what is that starting point for them? And then it's a completely custom process that we go through, depending on what the outcome is that they want. So it's a little bit like working backwards.
Yeah.
Because they let me know like where they're at, but where they want to go, what they want to achieve.
Right.
And I've had husbands reach out to me and they're like, "Thank you, like you gave me my wife back,"
Oh, nice. Yeah.
because it allows you to breathe again. It allows you to be productive and get done what you need to and should be getting done, but also the freedom.
Mhm.
And so many women struggle with that
Yeah.
because you feel like you can never come up for that breath of air. And this gives you those systems and strategies and the support to be able to do that.
Nice. That's awesome.
Talk about meetups for a moment, right? Because often, everything starts online, one-on-one coaching, but a lot of people want to be part of a bigger community.
Yeah.
We see that with Owl all the time. When we went to Podfest Expo, we got 30 people from our community to fly in for the event.
It's amazing.
And they just wanted to be attached to a brand,
Yeah.
right? And more importantly, attached to the individuals with the brand. And you've created that. And I know a lot of times people just want to go on a retreat. It'll be right down there. And we don't got to go anywhere. South Florida, of course, with a million hotels. And then people can't wait for the next one.
Yes.
Because they found their tribe, people that are like-minded.
Yeah. So when I started, so I have an academy also, and it's called the High Performance Accelerator Academy. And these women are also from all over the globe. So when I started it, we were only doing meetups once a quarter is kind of where it started. And then the feedback that I was getting was, we want more of this. So I don't know if you guys do this every year, but every year I pick a word, like what is my word that's kind of going to be my North Star. And that word for me this year was connection. So with that word, I decided that every month I was going to be doing these events now. So we have done, and they're always different. Like it's not just your typical luncheon. It's like almost mastermind meets luncheon meets retreat.
Yeah.
So it's very like the ladies have so much fun. They find like some of their best friends here, but they really look forward to it because it's not like you're sitting down and like in a classroom style. Like you're having fun. We do photo shoots, we do content, but then you're also talking about real life situations, scenarios where they can really, they don't feel like they're alone.
It makes sense because so often, you look at small businesses, 99% of them have one employee, right? It's just the harsh truth. And
Yeah.
it's really hard. Everyone talks about all the bigger brands having all these employees and having
Mhm.
people support you, but it's not showing in the data, right?
Right.
99%, it's just one person out
Yeah,
there.
which is so hard. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember when my business was at that point where it was still just me, and I I was so overwhelmed. I listed everything out in my phone that I was doing. And I was like, in one day, I'm going from like editor to content creator to leading, these seminars or to leading a workshop or whatever. And I'm like, how am I bouncing from this to that? So that was my turning point where I was like, okay, what can I have someone else just take off my plate? Like something out of this whole long list. And then the team started building from there.
And you have to do that.
Yeah.
We all know we should, and it's hard to this finally say, I'm going to hire an outside editor so I don't have to edit the videos, or someone with your schedule management, right?
Yeah.
There's just the tasks go on, and often we're like, well, it's just 5 minutes, it's just 7 minutes, and before you
That's
know
the
it, you're
tricky
like,
part.
it's 3 hours a day. And sometimes you're like, but I need to touch this. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really hard to give up responsibility. It's really hard to hire.
Mhm.
But going back to the original point is like sometimes you still outsource everything and you're still by yourself.
Yeah.
So you need a tribe
Yes.
because you want to get ideas. Like what I went to a networking event last night. Someone was speaking about AI,
Mhm.
and there was a lawyer up there speaking about AI as well. And at the end of it, I was like, okay, but like, what are people actually using? Like everyone just keeps talking AI, AI, AI.
We were
I'm
at
like, I need to know what to use. What is the
Yes.
program?
Yes.
Because I need to go back to my office tomorrow and just download like the 2 or 3 programs and try. Because I feel like we're all overwhelmed. Everyone uses one.
Right.
Everyone uses Chat GPT,
Yeah.
but no one uses anything else practically.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you some good ones.
Yeah, and
I'll tell you
that's
some good
and
ones.
that's where like being part of your community,
Yes.
you
get
can
that
literally be like,
insider.
try this one, and everyone's like, oh, I like it for my
Right.
business. I like it for that.
Do you use Decipher?
I do not.
No,
Okay,
we don't. I
Decipher's a
feel
good
like
one.
I totally agree.
Our
We go to
editors
these
use some stuff,
conferences,
but
and
I
they're like,
don't use it.
AI, and I'm like, what are you using? And they like never give me any
Crazy.
good.
So I remember when AI first came out, and my husband, we were watching CNBC in the morning because before he leaves, it's always just on the TV, and they were talking about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we just started using this in our business. This was like
Yeah.
2 years ago,
Oh wow.
and it was like before anyone knew what it was." And he's like, "You have to check this out." So I go on, and I'm like, "What? What? Like this? Is this like magic? Is this source? What is this? Like this is
Yeah.
crazy."
Yeah.
So and then I remember the day that I rolled it out to my academy girls, and their minds, just like me, my mind was blown. But then there were all these other ones. And I think that the thing is like you do have to have your finger on the pulse of what's going on because it's always changing and it's
Yeah.
changing fast. That's what these masterminds and inner circles and communities give you is like, hey, I'm using this. This works for me. Great. Or I use that, didn't work for me so well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're right. Like people will be like, "Oh, this is great," but like, what exactly is it?
Yeah.
Is it like?
And I do feel like there are so many like groups and masterminds and circles. It's hard to tell like
Yeah,
which ones are
Yeah.
the right ones to join as
Right.
well, you know? So I guess it's just what resonates with you at the
yeah.
end.
And I tell my clients too because I had a client of mine come to me and she's like, "Do you think I should go to this event?" It was a pretty high ticket event, and I said, "Well, what do you want to achieve? Like, what do you want the outcome to be? Do you want to go meet the person that's speaking or the people that are speaking?
Yeah.
Do you want to go network with those people in the room? Are your clients in that room? Like, what is the goal that you want to achieve by going to justify that ticket?" To justify that price point. And I said, before you commit to that event, you better figure out what that looks like. Because if you go in there and you don't achieve that goal, it's on you.
Yeah.
So
And a lot of times people go for the cheaper events, and then what ends up coming out of it is the wrong intent, like the
Right.
wrong people. A lot of people who are soliciting their services.
yeah.
When you go to ones that are a little pricier, you
Right.
tend to find the right type of people in the room.
Yes, 100%.
Right. I'd rather have less meetings,
Exactly.
but better quality ones. Like a lot of times people are like, here's a great event. Here's a great event. I'm like, I don't really need to go to events
Yes.
anymore. I run 2 podcasts every week.
Right.
I meet 2 amazing individuals
Yes.
weekly. That's enough.
Yeah.
Right?
And you have to look at, and this is what I teach my clients as well. It's like, what do you want to achieve from this? And is it even the right room to be in?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't know what they want to achieve too. Like that's
crazy
like
to
the
me.
biggest problem is like
Yeah.
just because once you figure out what, and that was like me for a while, even
Yeah.
just once you figure out like this is my goal, then it's like there are easy steps to get
Well,
there.
and that's part of
But-
the whole process, right? It's like once that's clear and again, this is like with the calendar planning, this is with
Yeah.
figuring out like, what are those big macro goals? What are the small micro goals that support that? Then it becomes much easier.
Yes.
But it does blow my mind that there's a lot of people that just don't set goals or like know how
Or
to do
it's
that.
just like broad, like they just have this idea, but then
generic.
it's
Like, I want to lose
right, but
pounds,
there's
or I
no
wanna-
like, okay, what's the step to get,
Right. Right.
So
which when you do it is actually very foundational.
mhm.
You've heard of SMART goals before? Yes? No?
No.
Ooh, okay, so
Mhm.
SMART goals, it's an acronym. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely.
Mm,
So when you set a goal, you follow that those 5,
mhm,
and that helps you set a SMART goal that you can like, because like if you said to yourself, I want to make X amount of money.
yeah.
Well, great. Like, by when, how much,
Right,
what are you doing
exactly.
to get there?
Yeah.
So when you answer the question in the SMART goal way,
Yeah.
now you give yourself deadlines and timelines and targets to hit.
Yeah. Yeah,
There
I
we
love
go.
that.
You're right, because too often people just put a goal and there's nothing else. There's no
Right.
substance
There's
to it.
no, yeah.
So I learned that the hard way, just being in the financial service business. You would get these high-end trainers come in and show you
Yes.
best practices, and they tore us apart. Like, we tried to enter a competition and then we lost, and we're like, why are we winning? And eventually we found out it's like they want those details, and it comes back to
Yes.
those goals. They say, okay, you want to, make $1 million. How is that possible?
Yeah.
Show me the activity.
Yes.
Okay, there's the activity. Now define it further.
Right.
So you're like, okay, every day I have to make 100 calls.
Yeah.
Every week I have to do 2 seminars.
Yes.
Every week, and it just keeps going. And you're like, okay, then you could go backwards, and that's how you're going to achieve it. And what is the
Right.
deadline? And then when are you even looking at the goals? So that way,
Yep.
every month or every quarter, you're checking with your team and
Right.
you're checking it off.
Yep.
In order to achieve them.
So
So
my team even has these goals. Like, even if they're in the editing department, like, they have their own goals, that's how specific you need to get, because otherwise you're just stagnant. You're not moving the ball forward.
yes, and that's actually what we're doing with 30-day challenge.
Yeah.
Like, we literally are having 30 plus members in our community who are participating. We're down to about 10 right now. They have to call one person on out. It has to be different, but they have
Okay.
to put on Excel spreadsheet so they don't
Track it.
they don't miss it. And how cool is that? They're connecting with another individual every single day for 30 days. What's that going to do
Mhm.
for their life? It's going to
Oh,
open up
yeah.
opportunities.
Yes. Yes.
The second thing, is a 45-minute workout each and
Mhm.
every day. They got to do either 50 sit-ups or 50 push-ups. And they have to drink a gallon of water. The gallon of water
That
is
would be
hard.
my hard part.
The
Like,
water?
what? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, water's hard.
That
Not
would
for
be
me.
that would be my downfall. Like, I brought my water, and like, I need to get better at drinking my water. I've always been that way.
I'm like the opposite. I've always carried around like that water bottle
Yeah.
with me. And
You know why though? I'm like, if I have to go pee, I'm wasting time.
That's good for you.
for me, I'm like, oh, it's
I've
a
been
break.
peeing all-
Like I gotta.
I'd be like every hour. Like, even running the podcast is hard now. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I got to be careful. If I drink too much before, then
Yeah.
during it, I'm like, I'm running out right
Like,
afterwards.
I'm wasting time. 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
My trick, I don't like wasting plastic so much,
Yeah.
but it's just getting the normal 16-ounce water bottles.
Yeah.
And I just
But
drink one at a
now you
time
know
because
it's
I know it's
plastic. Yeah,
7.5.
Plastic is so bad
Plastic
for
is
you.
not
I
good.
know,
drink
but
out of
it's the
glass, and I have a glass even thing at
That's
home, like a
good.
jug now.
Yes. Yes.
Fresh spring water. I like
No.
up my water
But
game.
going back to the goal,
But
it's
when I come
easy to be
here-
like, okay, I need 7.5 of these per
Right,
day.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I know by like noon, 2 o'clock, like my range, I should be at like 3 to 4 bottles.
Yeah. Oh, so you're so
But
much
it
better
sucks
than me
though.
then.
Like
But if
yes,
you do like a big one, it's just like it's impossible. You'll
Yeah.
never. It's so going back to like
yes.
we talk about tackling your goals. If you're like,
Right.
I want to make $1 million, if it's just that on a piece of paper,
Right.
you're never going to get there.
Right.
You have to make it
You know,
small bits.
I was really good at drinking water when I was pregnant, because then I was like, oh, I'm doing this for my baby. But then when it's just me,
Yeah.
myself, and I'm horrible at it, because I'm like,
I feel like I get like hypochondriac sometimes. So I'm like
Yeah.
drinking water will keep me healthy, and so I
Yeah.
get like OCD about it.
but I love working out. I mean,
Mhm.
working out is my, it's like my piece. It's my
Yeah.
time. So I love that. There's never a day that I go without moving my body.
Yeah,
like
yeah, me too.
walking, or like
If
going
I
for a
go
bike
a
ride.
couple days, I feel
Right,
just, like,
me
raw. I'm like,
too.
oh, what's wrong?
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too. That's my like peace of mind.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm great at working out. I eat very clean. I
Yeah.
do love dark chocolate. That's my like
too, yeah.
sweet tooth, but the water is my downfall.
You'll get there. You'll
Yeah.
get one thing at a time, right?
Smart goals.
But yeah, I think it was yesterday. It was like 10:30, and I was like, I drank like 3 bottles in
Just to get
before
your
12.
water in. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
just to
and then
get-
you're peeing all night.
Yeah. I was like, oh God, why did I do this? And I was like, did I just gain like 3 pounds?
But then you feel
yeah,
like
then you
heavy.
feel so full. Yeah.
But then you
But
eat less. So
it's true.
It's like,
it's a balance. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, this part of the segment, is we're going to look down at the Owl app.
Okay.
And we're going to give one of these experts a call and bring them live into the show.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I'm looking for an expert to call. You
Okay.
two chat a little bit,
We'll
of
talk.
course. Okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel like I have. So I guess in terms of like you have so much going on, obviously. You have like the book and the coaching and the podcast. Like, okay, that was weird. Are you like currently still doing all of those, like the masterminds and the retreats and the coaching, or have you like narrowed it down to like just 1 or 2 things?
Yeah. So all of it still,
Okay.
it's just all scheduled.
Okay.
So, like our travel schedule, what my husband does also, his schedule has a very busy, he's traveling right now.
Yeah.
Very busy travel schedule. Both of us are just have a lot going on. Same with my son's school. There's just a lot of moving pieces,
Yeah.
but that's why that scheduling and, running it in that way is such, and actually, so that calendar, because what you'll see on the YouTube video, we have a big desk calendar that gets hung in our laundry room. So whoever's there sees it, like my in-laws who help us.
Nice.
We have a nanny that helps after school.
Okay.
Like,
Yes.
Nathan, are you available? Hello? Nathan, can you hear us?
There we go. Hey, how's it going, Jason?
What's up, Nathan? You're live on the Owl podcast. You're here with Sandy Glandt as well as Ellie Sandra. We are live. So after this call, check us out on social media. How's it going today?
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to it.
Okay. So Nathan, can you tell Sandy, she's our guest today, a little bit about who you are, what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Nathan Oakes here in Houston. I'm a voice actor. Been doing that for about 9 years. And as a matter of fact, working on an animation spot as we speak.
That's
nice.
Awesome.
So Sandy, you have a question for him?
How did you get into that business?
So it was interesting. I like to tell the story of the late Don LaFontaine, who was the guy who coined the words "in a world where one man,"
nice.
That trailer voice guy from the 90s. So he was on a Geico commercial, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And if you just type in Don LaFontaine Geico commercial, it'd be the first one. And I was like, oh, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I searched and searched and searched and finally found a school that teaches voiceover. Went through the course. Now I'm teaching at the school, teaching voice students, and, just bumped my butt along the way, got other coaching and got marketing skills and started running my own business.
That's awesome. So you coach, so you have clients that you work with to help them get into the business?
Yeah. So I've got voiceover students as well as, clients that need voiceover. So kind of do a twofold thing there.
I'm curious. Like I teach singing, so I'm curious with like the vocal with what you do. Like, do you guys do vocal warm up so that you're not like damaging the voice? Because that's obviously for me, like singing wise, like the vocal health and laryngeal health and all of that. Is that something that you incorporate in your business?
Yeah, that's super important. As a matter of fact, the character I'm working on now is a real high-pitched, nasally sound.
Mm-hmm.
And the second I started doing it this morning without warming up, I was like, nope, I didn't even go through the first
So
line.
you do warm-ups too. I figured, because I had a friend that did voiceover and I thought about like trying it, but then I was always worried about like ruining my vocal cords. So I never did it. But yeah, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have throat coat right here in front of me.
Nice. That's what I use
but
too.
That's one thing I tell my students is, especially if they're doing video games and they're grunting and screaming. I mean, you don't want to come out there with your, coughing up blood.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing that could possibly happen for your career. So
I need that for my next convention.
Sure.
That always happens to me. Every time I'm like a 2-3 day convention, I lose my voice.
I know. Yeah, I told you
it was drinking. It's just from talking.
It was too late last time, but I was like, if you want me to bring my supplies,
now
I literally have like a whole toolbox. Yeah. So
do it
next time. Yeah, we'll prepare.
Exactly. Make sure that that's taken care of because you don't want to ruin your moneymaker.
Yes. Do you want to share what you do quickly and see if you have any questions?
So, hello, Nathan. My name is Sandra Glandt. I'm a high performance productivity coach. So, what I do is I help my clients focus in on the needle movers. I call them the big money moves. So, most of my clients, they're they're wearing many hats. So like mom, dad, running the business. They have, a lot of travel going on. So just a lot of moving pieces in their life. So I help them hone in and focus on the systems, the strategy, and the support on how to get really everything done.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a huge thing for voiceover because we all work by ourselves, so any kind of motivation to keep that going or keep that needle moving, as it were, that's always helpful.
Yeah. Do you have any kids?
No, I'm allergic to those.
I'm allergic.
That's a good answer.
No, we've only been married 2 years, so it's like let's figure each other out first.
It's a lot of work, it's definitely it's a job all in its own.
Yeah, absolutely. If my kids are anything like I was, ooh man, that's gonna be rough for
me. Maybe one day we'll see.
Yeah,
there's more laws in place these days than when you were probably a child. Because we all say that. We're like, when I was a child, I'm like, how did our parents let us do all this stuff?
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
We all rode bikes everywhere, rollerblade everywhere, and we just got into trouble. But nowadays, like that doesn't not happen. Like no one's letting their kids just go out by themselves.
Oh no.
I don't. Mine are 9 and 7.
Yeah.
So that day hasn't come yet.
No, and I've got little ones. Mine are 3 and 6, and they are definitely not doing that.
I was able to go to the next neighbor's mailbox, and that was it.
Man, I had free reign. Like I could go anywhere in my neighborhood.
We had a house in the Poconos. If you know,
too.
Really?
Yes.
So
it's called Lake Wallenpaupack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. We were like Laurel Woods. It was like Big Boulder, like if you know where that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad grew up going to camp there. It's so random.
I
know exactly where that is.
Like sleepaway camp in West Virginia when I was like 11, like an all girls.
Yeah.
Like sleepaway.
But like the Poconos is like you're just like in the middle of nowhere. So
I know.
Like, we would just they'd be like, see ya. And like we would just like go for hours. Like they had no idea where we were. There weren't like cell phones.
I know.
Like so
it's a different world today, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately, but
we didn't do it in Philly, obviously.
No,
but out there we
could.
could.
Philly was a very small town. It was it was across from a farm. It wasn't like Philadelphia.
Yeah. I get that.
Well, Nathan, what should we do for Owl? Right, you've been on this app for some time now, and we've never spoken. Actually, I know we've tried to connect.
I know Nathan. I was like, isn't he the voiceover guy?
What should we do, voiceover wise? What should we do? Should
we hire you to do?
We need a new intro maybe for this podcast. We need a jingle potentially.
I mean, I already wrote.
That's always
I have multiple jingles.
Actually, I've done that for quite a few clients. Do like a bumper, an intro and an outro. I mean. You always wanted that, you always want that kind of thing, but who knows, who knows? There's lots and lots of things that you could do voiceover wise with podcasts. You could even do commercials in there,
I feel like we need like an owl cartoon and then.
Well, we have one. Your son do it.
Right. Your son made like the mascot and then we need like a voice for the mascot and then we can do things like.
We do have to change our ringtone. So it's more like a hoot, like hoot. Someone's calling like something like that and put a jingle to it.
Yes. I like that.
We could go. Awesome. We could do a lot of things with the owl, of course, with hooting.
Yeah.
And then you could change the.
We do already have a mascot.
Who do you know? Right.
We can have two mascots. We have a cat mascot currently.
That looks like an owl.
Yeah.
We can't actually get an owl. We might be able to one day, but right now it's a little difficult, of course.
Yeah.
Not exactly the easiest pets to take in.
Yeah, I wanted to get an owl when a couple of years ago. And I'm like, I can get those tiny little owls as pets, and they're like, that's illegal to own in the United States. I was like, no.
Did you know that it was illegal?
If we have enough money when the brand blows up, maybe we can buy it.
We almost had one. We tried at our launch party. It was over at the Nova Levan Center of Innovation. And we reached out and we were going to get an owl. Yeah. It was like $1,000 to get one for the day, but then they wouldn't let us bring it in. They're like, no, we feel uncomfortable with the owl. Like, lands on someone, scratches someone. And
I guess it's a liability.
Unfortunately, it was liability. They wouldn't let us do it. So our next big event, we will do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Nathan, thank you for joining us on the Owl Podcast today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Cool.
Thanks, Nathan.
Okay. Thanks, you guys.
That's cool. That's a really cool profession.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you go, like your son's here for bring your kid to work day.
Yep.
And then, what was the other thing called when the parents go in and it's like career day?
Oh, yeah.
That would be a cool.
Because a lot of people don't even think of that as an option of something,
But today it's like, I want to be an influencer.
Yeah,
Oh,
right. I know.
But you heard what he said. It's like everyone's independent. So going back to what you do with building a community, what we're doing with building a
Right.
community, it's like, okay, there's a lot of voiceovers and, they go on
And
Fiverr.
it is
have a
very
website.
competitive.
It's
I lived in
super
LA
competitive.
for a little bit, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
just like every actor, right? That's like the dream side gig for them because you're just
Probably
in
flexible too. Like
it's flexible. You go into the studio, you make a ton of money if you get a
Yeah.
placement,
Wow. Big
credits.
for these large brands too.
Yeah. So it's very competitive. But it sounds like,
I
he
could
has
tell
a
when
whole,
he answered the phone. Like I could just tell his
Yeah.
voice was like
yeah.
almost like that announcer radio
Totally.
style voice.
Okay, we're going to try one more owl call. Ooh, they're picking up.
Oh wow. That was
Here we
fast.
go. This is going to be a surprise one.
Feel like the prettiest girl at the ball.
Who is this?
This is Jonathan Palmer, and I thought I was the owl mascot. I'm really disappointed.
Are you watching the podcast?
Oh my gosh.
That I have been replaced.
Hi, Jonathan.
You
How you doing, girl? Great
have
to
been
hear your voice.
you may have been
How are you?
replaced. Welcome to the show, Jonathan. You have a question for Sandy?
Do I have a question for Sandy? Yes. I am now 35 years old, and I really need to establish a solid skin routine. Do you have any recommendations? You
my
you are
gosh.
glowing right now.
Oh, I am. Thank you.
He is watching. He
Well,
is.
one of my actually, I was mentioning my second podcast that I had a couple years ago, and my business partner has her own skincare line now. It's called Katya Love. I'm going to give her a shout out. And you glow. I mean, it's oils and all the face care and lotion. So shout out to Katya Love.
I'll also
There we go. That's the
recommend
secret.
micro needling.
That's good too.
If you have any acne scars, it really helps. So yeah.
And
it's
that's why
not-
men have beards.
right? It's not invasive, but yeah, I just tried.
Beards are hard to
Anyway.
maintain. I never had a beard until like a
But
year and
you
a half
also,
ago.
you and I probably have the same length of hair too. So like, what we could go into like hair care products. Maintenance.
Jonathan, should Sandy be pushing more on LinkedIn? What are your thoughts?
Oh,
Because
well,
I
now
feel
that we're
that's
talking about
I think
LinkedIn.
that's our weak spot. I'm looking
yeah.
at our
Okay,
socials.
well, let's talk about some
and
LinkedIn.
I noticed that, so I'm gonna have to bring it up and put her on the spot. and
Well,
you
I
on the
got some
spot.
exciting things to share. So, a lot of people aren't familiar with this. And listen, we all know that Owl dominates the audio space, but on LinkedIn, they're actually going to be releasing
I know what you're gonna say.
video feature.
I knew it.
Yes, yeah.
I talked to
I've
a
seen
You
link.
knew it. They
seen
got
it.
a video tab.
I
See,
knew
that's what I
it.
love. I love video.
Yeah, me
Like I
too.
think because again, I come from a background of media and TV. I love video.
Because I am starting a new brand and I'm like about to launch it in May. And I was like, everyone was telling me, LinkedIn is about pictures and long copy.
Mhm.
And then I talked to a LinkedIn expert yesterday on Owl, not Jonathan, someone else. And he was like, get ready. They are releasing
now it's
video.
gonna be my jam. If there's video, on
Yeah.
LinkedIn,
And I was like, oh,
then I'm
thank
there.
God, finally.
Yeah.
Because I
Explain it,
always
Jonathan.
post
Explain it.
videos.
What is being released? Because you're in the beta environment, I hear.
Yes. So essentially, the biggest challenge that we've had on LinkedIn, and a lot of people, this is going to answer a lot of questions for a lot of people. Everybody talks about hashtags. Everybody talks about video content, picture content. It's all mixed in. It's on one tab, which is not like any other platform. When you've got Instagram, when you have Facebook, you got TikTok, you have a discovery page. This is LinkedIn creating that discovery page. So it's an opportunity for you to really, really stand out.
We're going to kill
because
it. We're going to kill it.
space is dedicated to video only. So that means all of you need to jump on this now. Remember back in 2019 when people were talking about LinkedIn first? This is the second coming of that push, that major push.
Now I'm going to be ready for it. If
Even
it's video,
like-
I'm ready.
Exactly.
I feel like so many people still don't utilize LinkedIn at all, especially like
And
in
why
the
is that
music
great?
world.
That means
They
it's
don't
for the taking.
understand. Right. So it's like, this is our chance.
It's like the new uncharted territory.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I love
But
this.
what I will say is after having posted hundreds upon hundreds of videos, after doing 24-hour live streams, 12-hour live streams, all kinds of streams, all types of content, all kinds of Zoom calls, one thing that does give me peace of mind is that I have that audio option. So that's another reason why I love Owl. I am so burnt out showing my face on camera. it's nice to have that alternative to be able to connect deeper with people and not have to feel like I put on my face of makeup and do my hair and put on an outfit.
I'm with you.
Whenever people suggest like you should have video on Owl, I'm like, absolutely not. That is never going to happen.
But also it's nice when you're
Zoom
just,
exists. Like we don't need
5 minutes or 10 minutes of like you want to like turn it on and like have that available. Like,
or if you
and
have
you totally
a question
avoid
that you're like, I need help now. Like I'm in the moment.
And
I'm doing this project. Like I don't like
well, like I was saying, even with my podcast content, which is on YouTube, I batch it out because I'm like, okay, this is the day I'm gonna like do my hair and makeup and get ready and be on camera.
And when you're in the car, think about the hour commute sometimes when you're in Boca, going down to Miami or something, and it's like, what are you doing? You're listening to a podcast, or music typically. Now you just go live on Owl, take a couple of calls from your audience who wants to speak to you anyway. Right. So do it on the phone.
And how many times have we been there where you like hop on a Zoom and it's awkward? It's like, do I turn on my camera? Do I not? Do I just pretend
I
like
call
it's not
people
an
out.
option?
I'm like, so your camera seems to not be working or not be on.
I'm a camera person on Zoom. If I'm on Zoom, I'm putting on the
that's what
camera.
it's meant
Me
for.
too.
That's
Me
the
too.
thing. Yeah.
I also feel like I do better like on camera during Zoom. Like I'm in my zone in my office. I'm standing up. I got a good
You're more
backdrop.
attentive. You're more like
I got my headset. I'm walking around and I really get to know people, and things come from it when you're seeing their interactions on their face. So I do like that, but I also like Owl when I'm driving all the time.
Yeah, on the go. You can't use
and
Zoom
I don't
on the
want
go.
people to see me. I just want to be able to speak to someone quickly.
Yes.
And if we want to take things deeper, we will move it over to Zoom. We're not saying stay on Owl for everything.
To your point, it's like there's almost like these levels of access where it's nice to be able to get the intro access and then move on.
Absolutely.
Like you pass the gatekeeper.
So Jonathan, tell us what this screen's going to look like.
This is awesome.
So I've actually gotten early access to it. I'm one of the beta testers right now. And what I'm noticing, and this is all for you, the videos that are performed, the videos that LinkedIn is pushing the most, because right now they're kind of it's just the influencers kind of that have access to it. But the kind of content they're pushing the most is series content, like episodic television. Now that Hollywood and the media doesn't have as much control over us, people are still used to those types of patterns, right? The episodic television that's bringing people into your personal brand, that's taking them behind the scenes in your life. So do series, Day in My Life, my life as a financial advisor, my life as an Owl owner, and take people through that process, because when it's authentic, it works, it connects, and people fall in love with you.
So you could
go all in on that.
You could also repurpose there and have it on YouTube.
Of course.
And then
absolutely.
Because that's where my content, like I'll do vlogs on there. I'll do straight to camera, like 5 tips on whatever, but then I'll also do like, this is a vacation vlog or this is a travel vlog and that gets way more. Like I did a blowout one and it was like insane. It was like doing a blowout.
And is that something that you then send to your video team and they'll like edit it and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Well, okay, so the ones that I do with a guest or the ones that me just straight to camera, but then the other ones, the vlog style,
the
I
vlogs
just do
you
those.
just post. You just do it
and those sometimes get even better views than the ones that my team does.
So there's not really editing. You're just kind of
like I go into there's a couple apps that I use for it. I'll show you on my phone.
Okay, yeah.
There's a couple apps that I use that make it so easy to do. Yeah.
Okay.
iMovie's one of them. There's like a magic edit on there, but there's a couple. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll actually give you the apps.
Ooh, okay, sure.
And while we're here, let's give the audience some other free tools. By far my favorite, I've fallen in love with this app. It completely changed my business, is the Opus Clip. Opus Clip.
We talked about that on stage. About that on stage.
So good. It cuts the pauses. It adds the captions.
Yep. I tell my clients about that all the time, which is, especially if you don't have a big editing team, like it does decent, not even decent. It does a really good job.
It does. It does. So there you go, guys. That's one of the little secrets. Take advantage. Start posting videos on LinkedIn and use Opus Clip to edit them for you.
So has it officially rolled out yet, video on LinkedIn, or not yet to like everybody?
Video has been out since 2018, but it hasn't had its own dedicated tab, like a homepage.
Okay.
So this is why it's such a game changer, because this is going to be video only, and watch how everything migrates to video because it's so easy to consume.
I love video.
So don't be surprised. So for those of you that are copy queens and that love writing your text posts, your days are numbered. We're coming for you.
So Jonathan, how long are the videos? Like, are they going to cap it at 3 minutes, 1 minute? What do you?
Great question. 10 minutes.
Oh.
But, so are they going to favor?
Podcast is amazing.
Are they going to favor
could
the
cut it.
longer videos or shorter?
Great question. This is how the LinkedIn algorithm works according to LinkedIn. The way it works is that LinkedIn has something called dwell time. So the longer somebody spends on your post, the more views it'll receive, because most people on LinkedIn are not going to like and comment your post. They've got friends, they got families, they have all kinds of people that are getting access. So they're very concerned about what they're engaging with and connecting with, what have you. But with LinkedIn, the longer somebody stays in your video, the more views it gets. So if that means if you're going to make a long video, it's got to be good. Every 30 seconds, have a point, have something to keep them engaged, keep them guessing on what the outcome's going to be. And so that's one thing. So if it's really good, make it long. If it's not so great, it's just something that you had on your mind or something you wanted to share, make it very short. And that's the way to do it.
Sounds like there's a long cop video coming.
No, we have a video that we made that no one has even seen.
Yeah.
The Christmas video that we never roll.
Well, maybe it's perfect timing.
You know, one of the reasons
are we
why,
ever rolling that out? No.
You want to tell them what we did in that one?
No, I'll let them watch it and be super.
We'll tease everyone. It's coming out soon.
Yeah, we'll tease it next. I guess 2020. Yeah, 4. Yeah, exactly. At this point, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
It's
good times.
It's a Christmas.
Good times. Yeah.
Well, Jonathan, thank you for joining us on the Owl Podcast. We appreciate it, and we'll see you this weekend.
Of course. What a blast, guys! See you tomorrow.
Ooh, Unleash.
Cool.
Yeah, let's,
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from the audience, from Flex Healing. I have a question for her and her husband, Jared. How do you find a balance with personal life and your busy schedule?
Such a good question. What was his name?
Flex Healing. It's off social media. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned, Jared and I have very busy schedules. That's the reason why we do the big calendar planning, and that whole video is on Jared and I doing it together. It's on YouTube. But like I said, it's always changing. And one of the things that we also do, I don't think I mentioned this. One of the things that we also do in addition to the work schedules, the travel, all of that is once a month we have, it's called JNS Day. So Jared and Sandy. So whatever your name is and your partner, can be your day. Once a month where it's our time to just have that connection time. And then once a week we have our date nights. And the thing is like there's been times where we've gotten away from that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, because women, we need to feel connection.
Yeah.
Like we need that connection with our partners. So like anytime life gets busy, I'm like, we've got to prioritize this. Because if we don't, it's so easy to just be like in the thick of work and kids and school and all the things that it's very easy not to do. So we kind of can project when those big events are coming. Like my husband has a big conference they're just coming off of called Growth Con. Very busy season. That's why we just took a vacation this weekend. But it's the planning and making sure you stick to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you plan your whole year ahead, then you're gonna know, okay, like this month is gonna be a rough one, but we can plan
every
that
month.
vacation.
We're like, wait a minute, this is our busy month, and then we get to the next one. We're like, this is our busy month.
Well, it's true. Everyone says tomorrow, and then all of a sudden you're like 6 months have gone by, and we haven't had a date.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like your babysitter goes off to college, then you need a new babysitter. Then it's not easy finding a babysitter, as you know, and then it's expensive. Before you know it, it's like to pay the babysitter.
Yeah.
Then you're doing a dinner out, and then all of a sudden, you want to do it more frequently, and you're like, wow, we just spent $1,000 on a babysitter this month, right?
Another hack for that too, because my thing was, again, as a woman, like a date night is like a fun, sexy time. You're like, okay, I get to like dress up, do hair and makeup. Like again, working from home, days when I'm not on video, I'm in like Lululemon and my hair is up in a ponytail. Like I'm not camera ready. But what we found is that our date nights don't always have to be like, we're going out to dinner. Like we're like, we can just go to the beach and go walk on the beach together. We've done our just neighborhood walks together where we just walk for a couple miles and talk about things. So one of the things my husband requested, he said, let's make date nights easy. Like he's like, put a hat on. Like just put a hat on and let's go for a walk,
Go to Starbucks.
Or let's go to like make it easy. So I think that's something too, where you don't have to feel the pressure of like hair and makeup.
I don't
and
feel like getting ready and like finding a dress and all that.
Yes. And the outfits. And like my husband will tell you, like, even that alone, he's like, come on, like we're just going out to this. I'm like, I know, but I still want to look good, you know? So that's a little hack too, is make it easy, because then you take the pressure off.
Okay, it's that time of the episode. It's Ellie's favorite part. It's bedtime.
Yay.
We don't tell our guests about this segment of the show on purpose. So,
Ooh.
Ellie, why don't you describe this segment of the show?
Bedtime? Bets.
Bet.
Bets. Okay.
It's like a wager thing. So
Okay.
essentially, we ask you to complete a task. Usually it's something to do with Owl. Usually
Okay.
it's take a certain amount of calls on the app or make
Okay.
yourself available. And if you complete that task, then you get something from us.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't complete it, just to add to your busy schedule, if you don't
Gotta schedule it.
right, if you don't complete it, then we get something from you.
Okay.
So, do you have an idea of what you would like her to?
I would
complete?
say next Monday. It's something that we've rolled out, and it's our best day of the week. It's called Mentorship Monday.
Okay.
And we require anyone participating to charge $1. And
Okay.
of course, anyone who has to take up to 10 calls is charged $1 anyway. But my idea would be that you participate and we will promote you as well.
Okay.
And then you also promote it to your audience. Tell them, hey, I'm available on this app called Owl. And anyone who wants to get in touch with me, I'm giving back some of my time. It's $1 to speak with me, and it's first come, first serve.
Okay.
Right.
So what's my target?
And then what you have to do is make sure on the calls, though, you only give a maximum of 10 minutes because all calls start at 10 minutes and then people are going to keep requesting more time with you.
Right.
And we don't want just one person in 1 hour.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're like an hour went by and you spoke to a friend of yours, right? We want 6 people to speak to you. And of course, 6 could be like an hour and 3 minutes then, because in between calls, but you should pretty much get 6 calls in that hour. Okay. So my thing is give us 1 hour of your time on Monday and we'll promote you and you promote it as well. And then if you complete that task, and we'll say you have to do at least, we got to put a minimum calls on there. You have to do at least 3 incoming calls because you should get 3. Because sometimes we've seen people go live. They're like, I did it. I'm like, but you missed the calls.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm like, that didn't mean what,
Okay.
we didn't want that part. Okay. So complete a minimum of 3, go live for a minimum of 1 hour. Of course, you do more if you'd like. And then if you complete that task, you get something from us. Okay. Right. So you could take the studio over, right? For
okay.
you could do you like batching content.
Yep.
So we could pick a day we're not here.
Okay.
And we run the shrimp tank. We're never here on Wednesdays for a period of time. So we give you the studio for like 3-4 hours and batch 45-minute episodes in.
Images on the screen.
Yeah. So that's one thing we could do.
Okay. I like that.
Next could be something with FAU, right? I'm really connected to the FAU College of Business. Okay. I could potentially get you into a college classroom.
Okay.
And I could potentially
ideas he's given me.
get you in there, to speak in front of a classroom, maybe potentially get some interns to work for your business, or maybe it's the next big event I have. Okay. I could land you on a big stage, right? Okay. I get on, big stages, but even further, I'm partnering with South Florida Tech Hub. We're launching Tech Tuesdays in about 2 weeks. And then they have 3 big events a year, which you were part of last year, Ignite, that was their first time doing it. The future ones will be a lot larger.
Yeah. Okay.
So, of course, I have access to get speakers. That was our partnership because I'm so connected to so many speakers down here. Yeah. So they're like, hey, can we partner? And then you just do a better job because I got everyone's cell phone numbers. I get text them like, hey, you want to be a speaker?
I know. That's what I mean. That's the beauty of being the connector.
So I'll leave that wager to you.
Okay. All right.
Or anything else. You might have something completely different in mind. You follow us. You know what we're up to. So if there's something else that comes to mind, you tell us.
Okay. I like it.
Which is the bet? What's the bet? Which one?
And then
wait.
I don't know what the bet
if
is.
She lose it if she does not.
Wait. So
what do you want? I said a bunch of different things. You have to tell us what you want if you win.
I'm gonna say I like.
And you could increase the stakes. Do you know, like, if I want all 3 of those?
Oh, I can go all 3?
It could be like the price.
Oh, I want all 3 then.
It could be like if it's like the Price is Right.
Trifecta.
Right. If it's like the Price is Right, we're going to increase the stats there. We're going to be like, no, you have to do that. Plus you have to publicly post and tell us.
Okay.
All
right. So now I want all 3.
Maybe. What about she has to make a testimonial about Owl, like a testimonial
And then
video.
why don't I bring you on my podcast?
Okay. That's fair.
And then, so if you don't do the testimonial and the calls, what do we get then if she doesn't complete the task?
Because she wants all 3. This is a big wager.
I know what I want.
Yes.
I know what I want from her.
Okay, go.
I want like a free ticket to one of your
Yes. Oh, wait, can I tell you what our next one is?
What is it?
Okay, so we're doing one tomorrow. Well,
Oh, wow.
tomorrow, but I meant the next one, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
next
yeah,
one
yeah.
after tomorrow. So, the next one, which I haven't even announced yet, by the way,
Ooh.
it's going to be called. So it's called Slay Fit Social,
Okay.
and it's a women's fitness event,
Ooh.
and we have very, very limited spots, but it's going to be a workout event. It's going to be networking. We have
I
a bunch
love
of
that.
sponsors coming in,
Oh, that
green
sounds good.
juice, like
Yeah.
wellness products.
Right up my alley. I teach meditation too. I didn't mention that. So
We have a
that's right up my
chiropractor. We have a
alley.
chiropractor that's coming to do like
Ooh,
adjustments.
I
and
just went to
stuff.
mine this morning. So
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been to mine.
yeah. So I'm good on the chiropractor, but that sounds
May 24th is the next one.
cool. Okay. So that's what I want.
Okay.
What are you getting? I missed it.
I got a free ticket to this event.
Oh, a free
and it's
ticket.
like a networking, fitness, like all the stuff.
Okay.
Next month.
It sounds
'Cause
fun.
the next one's tomorrow, but then one after that.
What's the one tomorrow for those?
Yeah.
Are there tickets available still, or
like maybe one?
Okay,
it's pretty
then
much sold out.
maybe it's not even worth sharing. Never mind.
Yeah, tomorrow's pretty much sold out. But
okay, how many people do you typically have at these events?
so I like to keep, like max is 40.
Okay.
Because it's again, it's intimate. Like I want to talk. I want to take the time to talk to people. I want to get to know who they are, what they do.
Yeah.
And again, like for them to do that with each other as well.
Mhm.
So the one I did last month was 20 women. The one tomorrow's 20, and then the next one's going to be about 30 to 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So what do I get? Wait, you got that.
I'm like, I want that.
you're
Okay,
like,
so she gets 3 things. So what do you want from her?
This is cool. I like this.
Yeah.
We try to change it up because there's so many podcasts out there. Like the Shrimp Tank one I run is so serious, that FAU. So it's just a straight interview show, with different segments. But this show is kind of more, we have some fun in here.
This is fun.
We want to switch it up with call-in show, games. I like the same
me
thing.
too.
Okay.
You like poker. Of course you like games.
Oh, yeah. High risk games. Let's build a mobile app. 99% of mobile apps
Well,
fail.
okay, I have an idea.
Let's build a mobile
of
app.
something you might want. But first, so I have a question for you. What for your like community of women and like like subscription or whatever it is exactly? How many members do you have?
So there's a couple different like tiers to it. So I have members that are inside of my coaching pageant community.
Okay.
And then so we have about 30 women that are inside of that.
Okay.
And then the High Performance Accelerator Academy community, we have about 50 women that are in there members.
Okay. Gotcha. I thought about maybe adding a category for that, but I don't know if it would need to be more people.
No, if she tells all the people to do it a specific day, it will work.
Yeah.
So it's all controlled by the leader.
So
the leader does it.
That would be a cool thing.
Okay, let's do it. So what she's speaking about is 2 days ago, we just announced that we launched groups. And what that means is on the home screen itself, I could put any types of groups up there. I could put it at the top, first category. I could put it down at the bottom, 7th category, or just flip it off. Right. Okay. So now when people pick a group,
private?
Not private. That's the only thing. So anyone can join it. So I'm just going to go to our home screen real quick. And there's Cindy Metzer's group, the Sisterhood for Success. So you can see like these people are not part of her group, but people saw it as a category.
Is it like, how does
it's just a group on our homepage. Okay. So in the future, what we're going to do is lock it up. Okay. Right. So you would have control of the group. For now, we're just testing it. Like Her Nation is right here. Someone else who's been on our podcast.
I love that you're in Her Nation.
Yeah.
I know I'm the only one live.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a sponsor of Her Nation, right? Like I'm connected to the organization.
Yep.
I think I'm a Sister for Success.
Look, like if you had an event, then after the event, everyone, if I attended your event, we could all be like, let's all go on Owl and talk to each other.
So the women that are in each of the monthly ones, we have WhatsApp chats that they're in.
Okay.
So it's and then the other thing. So
but this is like
community
audio calls.
There's another community that's just over 2,000, and it's a free. It's a Facebook group, but it's called it's Slay Your Day, but it's productivity hacks for ambitious women.
Oh, perfect.
That's what it's called.
So we are one of those groups to get them on.
So we could do this. Obviously, this helps you.
So it's like
this helps you a lot, obviously, as well. Okay. But what we are testing this because what we want to do in the next chapter is, scale. Right now, we have a little over 7,000 people who have joined the platform, but we want to get this to over 100,000. So we're starting to go after larger communities, and our biggest announcement will come in the next week or so, where we're doing it with South Florida Tech Hub. Right, they're one of the largest tech hubs down here in South Florida. And what they realize, they have a major problem. Every time they do a big event, they get all these amazing speakers, and then everybody reaches out like, hey, can you connect me that speaker? and then the speakers don't answer emails
Yeah.
or they don't respond to the social media, DMs, right? And they're going to bake it into their contracts. Like, hey, if you're going to come up to the Ignite stage, then the following Tuesdays, Tech Tuesdays over on the Owl app, and we're going to put South Florida Tech Hub right at the top.
Okay.
So we're hoping all these people in the technology field on Tuesdays now realize like, wait, every Tuesday I want to block out an hour of my day to kind of connect with other people in the tech community in South Florida.
And well, I guess is it international? Is it
the app right now is US and Canada only.
Okay. US.
One day we might get international.
Okay.
But we really want to test this. So if you lose the bet on May 24th, right, what we would like to do is
May 24th is my event.
Yeah, sorry, I said it wrong. So May 24th.
No.
What?
No, it's like
what's next
like
week?
30th.
April?
It's like
Wait, it's May 4th. Wait,
It's
next week. Okay,
what's next Monday? Next Monday isn't it April?
Well, that's even better. It's May 4th. Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. So this works perfect. If you lose by Monday. So if you lose,
I'm confused.
Wait, so I have
it's May 4th.
I'm confused too.
Yeah. Wait.
We're just telling
Aren't
her.
we still in April?
We are in April.
24th. So
it's a week and a half away.
In a week. No, we're having her go live on Monday.
Monday.
Right? Yeah, which is
April 30th.
Okay, so wait, let me
April
get my
30th.
part of this clear. So my part of this is I go live.
Just
for
win
an
the bet. You don't have to
hour.
do any of this.
Yeah.
If you win the bet, you don't have to do any of this.
On Monday,
I'll
she
still do it. I'll
goes
still do it.
live for an hour. So this Monday,
So that's what I have to do. Go
Yeah.
live for an hour.
Take
Yeah.
3 calls.
and
Okay.
and make
Because you
us
raised the stakes
a
on us.
testimonial video
Okay.
of you being.
Can I do it right now?
Hey,
Can I do it right now outside?
After
Yeah,
we want
you
you to do
can
it
do it.
after the calls because we do stuff in the Owl Pocket Studio regardless. So after your
After you've
calls,
actually
we
used
want
the
you.
app.
We want you to talk
so you're making
about
some
like,
kind of
hey, I
makeup
just
on
took
Monday?
3 calls on Owl for Mentorship Monday, and it's
talk
really
about your
cool, like,
experience with Mentorship
I got to
Monday
speak
and
with
who
X,
you
Y, or Z.
met.
So we want to do it
and-
after Monday
Yeah.
for that reason.
Okay.
And then
As the expert or as the person making you want me to make the call or take the call?
Take the call.
Okay.
take the calls. Take the
Okay.
calls. We want you to. Well, we're going to post that
Okay.
you're
Okay,
going to be
got it.
active for Mentorship
But if you
Monday.
feel inclined to make a call, if you see
Yeah.
someone live that you're like, oh, I would love
Okay.
to speak with them, or they
Okay.
seem like they'd be a good client or
Okay,
whatever.
so at least 3 calls on Monday for an hour.
Yes, and if you do all that,
Whatever the max, whatever the
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and the post, and then I'm going to introduce you to FAU professors. I'm going to let you use this studio, and then potentially get you.
I'll bring in some
I'll
people
get
you're
you
gonna
on
wanna
a
interview,
future
too.
event. I'll get you on a big stage.
Okay.
Okay, and then she got what she asked
Yeah,
for.
we're gonna get
and
I
then,
wanna
and
go
then-
to my
and then if you
event.
lose,
Okay, that'll be
then
Yeah.
what I get is
Wait, why don't we at my event do because I'm gonna have video and photo there.
okay.
We could do something.
What if we did the podcast booth at the event?
Yeah.
Is that your face?
3
You were
weeks
like,
in a row
"No."
because we're doing the Unleash event this Saturday. Then TEDx Boca Raton is on May 11th.
Okay, maybe we could-
24th is the event. So
Oh,
maybe
it's the 24th. I
May
keep getting
24th.
confused.
Yeah,
I keep,
that'll be
where's May
fun.
4th?
my challenge is
Oh, it's
gonna
the
be
24th. We're
my-
good.
Yeah, my challenge I have to complete by Monday. My event is May 24th.
And how many people are attending the event?
40 max.
So then we get to run our Owl podcast booth
Mhm.
at your event, which is obviously more to you.
Kind of-
We're charging for the booth these days.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
But it would be pretty
But
cool because you have
40
very high end.
30 to 40 local
Yeah.
women
Yeah.
that are there to work out, network.
Yeah.
connect.
As long as we get to do the workout classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you
wanna
got to
do
come
that.
in your workout.
And we
Yeah,
get to do the booth there, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We roll out the red carpet
Yeah.
and we have
That'd
the
be
little stanchion
fun.
poles. Okay, it's a deal.
Like we have like 50 deals
I
on
feel
the
like all the-
table. I'm like, wait, what?
I feel like all these deals are like mutual benefits.
We're all just gonna do it
benefits
all
for
of them
everybody.
anyway.
That is like how you make relationships. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah,
mean? It has to be mutually beneficial. Like,
Yeah.
That's why both people feel good about it. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel good taking a deal that I was like, I'm not giving you anything, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sandy, thank you for joining us here on the Owl Podcast today. For our audience listening, if they want to get in touch with you, of course, they could do it on Owl, but what are some of your other social handles
Yes.
so they could touch base with you?
Yes. So Sandy Glandt on all the channels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, podcast. And you'll see that on the podcast and on YouTube, there's ways to like call into me. You can join the text, service. And then you can also join the High Performance Accelerator community as well. And then I get to talk to you every week on Monday.
Awesome. Everyone tuning in, call her on Monday. She will be live at some point. See you later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Post-production for the Owl Podcast is done, with care, by Ocean Tree Creative.